We come back from Gojo unleashing a massive blue that hurled through all of Shinjuku and just eradicated Agito, removing it from the battle. And as we come back to Gojo's point of view, it's then said that the two black flashes has allowed Gojo's voltage to rise. And we can see here that Gojo's clearly in the zone, as he's currently able to unleash 120% of his power. And Sukuna, on the other hand, begins to feel nervousness for the first time in 1000 years. As the battle begins once more, Gojo unleashes another black flash on Maharaga, which sends it flying back and exposes Sukuna. And as Sukuna attempts to fight back, Gojo's easily able to parry his attack, grab him, and throw him straight into Maharaga, going in for another black flash, but this one is blocked once more. Maharaga is sent flying back, and Gojo begins to chant, "Phase, Haramitsu, Pillar of Light," and it's then said, the beginning of curse energy. The curse energy that flows out of the sorcerer before activating the curse technique, like the short hit effect happening right before the domain expansion. And due to this, there will always be a start for a huge move. This rule is not an exception for Gojo, who has an efficient curse energy consumption. So this allows Gojo's activation for the hollow technique purple to be very obvious. From the enchantment and the scale of curse energy, and the initiation of the attack occurring in front of him, Sukuna was able to judge that Gojo will be using a curse technique reversal red, and this judgment was correct. As we go into Sukuna's thoughts, he says that he'll have Maharaga tank it and make him adapt to it as reassurance. After this, we see curse technique reversal from Gojo, and he doesn't shoot the red at Sukuna, but he shoots it upwards. Sukuna takes a second to think about this, but he realizes and screams for Maharaga to act. And this causes Maharaga to jump straight into the air. It's then explained that the hollow technique purple, which is the combination of blue and red, pushes an imaginary mass that occurs ahead of the red that Gojo shot. Was the blue left even after it crushed Agito? And when we see the blue, it's then explained that just like the red that went around the building to attack Sukuna's back, red doesn't have speed before it explodes. Maharaga, following the order to interfere with the combination of blue and red by stopping the blue using its adaptation, completion of this task was the only thing that ran through Maharaga's mind. But despite that, it was not possible. Using the quick movement from blue, Gojo's able to come in between Maharaga and the blue that it attempted to disable by using its adaptation. And due to Maharaga being able to adapt to blue, it wasn't pulled from the gravity of blue, since its adaptation does not need to select a target for its activation, and thus, the adaptation backfired in this moment. And if you don't get what happened here, Maharaga would have been able to disable blue if it was able to be pulled into the gravity that blue produces. And since Maharaga has complete immunity to blue now, it wasn't able to make it in time, since the blue isn't pulling him towards it. And this also gave time for Gojo to intercept Maharaga's interference of the blue. And I do believe that this is why Kusakabe told Yuta to not interfere with this battle. This is like a 1 billion IQ plan from Gojo, and if Yuta interfered with the battle, it would have destroyed all of this. Gojo was most likely setting up this entire thing from the beginning. And after this plan goes through and Gojo's able to stop Maharaga, he goes in for a free uppercut on it. And this gives Sukuna the opportunity to stimulate red with piercing blood in order to make it explode. And after Sukuna is able to fire this off, Gojo goes in for a punch on him. But to no avail, the piercing blood still reaches the red. And with that happening, Sukuna says, "You were late." But this once again was all part of Gojo's plan. Gojo begins to enchant his blue. And with the blue's power beginning to increase, it begins to absorb everything around it, including the piercing blood. And as Gojo begins to enchant even more, he enhances his red as well. And we then cut to Yuta apologizing to Kusakabe, saying that if he appeared on the battlefield, Gojo would have never been able to do this. And we then see hollow technique, purple. As the dust settles and the debris scars the battlefield, we see a torn up Sukuna with 2 of his limbs. And it's then said by Gojo, A limitless purple without any aim, making it hit me too, but it seems like there's a difference in the damage. I guess the big factor in me surviving was that it was my own cursed energy that was used. It should be enough for an ad-lib remote purple. And with this attack being the final and decisive blow, Kusakabe then announces the results of the battle, stating that Gojo still has his reverse curse technique from the black flashes, and on the other hand, Sukuna took so much damage with almost no healing, no Maharaga, and being unable to use domain amplification. It's then stated that Gojo is the victor of the battle of the strongest. And with that, the chapter ends. Now, first and foremost, I really have to say that this chapter was amazing. I love that it really did call back onto the whole Yuta Kashimo don't interfere with the fight thing. Honestly, Gege did not have to give us an answer with that, and he did. I like things like this because it really shows that Gege is taking his time with the story. As much as people like to deny this, it's the truth. Gege is taking his time with the story. There is no rushing going on here. And like I said earlier, I think every single part of this chapter in the previous was a part of Gojo's plan. The moment that Gojo said it was time for the unlimited hollow technique, Maharaga had already been adapted to blue. So there's just no way that Gojo didn't have this entire sequence of events laying in his mind. Something else I really like is that I was proven wrong here. I said that Gojo will need a maximum technique to win, and he didn't. Although he pulled out a new technique, it wasn't really like anything crazy. It was just taking a separate maximum blue and a maximum red and combining those instead of just making a purple and shooting that maximum, you know? It's kind of a new technique, but kind of not. If you were to call it a new technique, then I'd probably agree. It'll probably get like a whole fan name in the fandom, like, I don't know, Blurple.
Oh my god, bro.
Nah, I'm kidding. I also want to say thank God that nobody interrupted this fight again. I know that I talk about this a lot, but that was never an option from the beginning. If Gege Akatami hyped up this fight for over 200 chapters and he had people interrupt it to help either side, that would just be abysmal. It's a battle of the strongest, a battle of these two identities. These identities revolve around them being alone, the honored ones. Like, there was never a chance of anybody interfering. And if somebody did interfere, I don't think anybody would really like that. I mean, you could have said you wanted that, but once you saw it happen, you were probably going to be like, wow, we're never going to get Gojo versus Sukuna again, and this is how it ended. I also want to prompt people to reread this fight from beginning to end as a binge. I think there are a couple of things you can capture in here, a lot of ways that all of our cast could improve as sorcerers, and also the realization that Kenjaku is him. Remember, he doing things that everybody else considers to be impossible. So don't forget, man, I got Kenjaku pulling up on Gojo here, he gonna do something. And if not, I'm not complaining. I think Gege is so unpredictable that I trust any direction he takes his story. Speaking of the future direction, I do think that Kenjaku's gonna get this cursed merger summoning thing off and he'll probably take over as the main villain. I think that this merger thing will be the new power ceiling, even surpassing Gojo. Because what Kenjaku wants is something that is beyond cursed energy. Something that goes far beyond our power system. We might even get like a new power system or a huge extension of cursed energy. We'll just have to see. Anyways, those are about my thoughts on the chapter. We're kind of on like a plateau. We ended off on a new land, a new ground, so there's not much for me to say. Everything I could say is kind of here. You know, it's already there, laid out for us. So I think I'll be ending the review on kind of a short note today. So guys, let me know where you think the direction of the story is going. Do you think Kenjaku's gonna pull up? Do you think we'll get some new villain? Do you think the series is just gonna end soon? I highly doubt that. But just let me know. I'm curious. I want to see different ideas because I honestly don't really know. I'm just saying Kenjaku because to me that's obvious. Anyways, let me not take up the rest of your day. Have a great day, guys. Thank you so much for all the support. I'm really, truly so grateful for it. It means a lot to me. And